All right, hey everyone, get ready because today we are diving into something pretty puzzling.
Oh, yeah.
AMD stock. And, you might be thinking, wait, isn't AMD
Yeah,
supposed to be doing really well in AI? And you're right,
Yeah.
they are, but
for sure.
their stock price just hit a 52-week low. And that's got us thinking, what's going on here? So we're going to unpack this Motley Fool article and try to figure out why this is happening and if this is a good time to buy or if this is like a big warning sign.
Yeah, I'm in.
Are you in?
Let's do it. Sounds like a puzzle worth solving.
Okay.
You'd think,
Yeah.
with all the hype around AI chips, the stock would be like rocketing up,
Right.
not plummeting like this.
Yeah.
There's got to be more to it.
Yeah, let's start with the facts. So this article highlights that AMD stock hit a new low on December 19th,
Okay.
which is interesting because less than 6% of large cap stocks did the same that day.
Right.
So that makes this dip even more unusual.
Yeah, it does. It makes you think that there may be some things going on with the company itself and not just like the whole market, being a little jittery.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about those things then. This article points out that AMD is seeing incredible growth in their data center revenue, like a huge 122% increase,
Wow.
all thanks to those powerful AI chips.
Yeah.
So what's the disconnect? Why isn't the stock reflecting this success?
Well, you got to remember that AMD isn't just an AI company.
Right.
They have other parts of their business. And actually, some of those are not doing that well.
Oh.
For instance, their gaming segment revenue is down a lot, actually, like 69%.
Wow.
Yeah. And their semi-custom revenue, that's mostly from gaming consoles,
Okay.
has also gone down. And even their embedded segment, which provides chips for other devices, is down 25%.
Okay, so it's not just like a simple AI boom equals stock boom situation.
Right.
It's more like,
No, it's a mix.
yeah, some areas are good, some areas are not doing so well. So how does that all come together when we look at their overall financial picture?
Yeah, well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
So despite all these challenges, AMD actually increased their total revenue by 18% in the third quarter.
Okay.
Now, compared to a company like NVIDIA, who saw a 94% jump, 18% might not sound that impressive.
Right.
But here's the thing, AMD is still making money, and they're actually making more than analysts expected,
Oh.
which is a big deal.
Wait, so exceeding expectations, that's a good thing, right?
Yes, definitely. It means they're running a tight ship, managing costs well, and doing pretty good in a tough market.
Okay.
And there's more. Their margins, which is basically how much profit they make on each dollar of sales, are actually going up,
Huh.
and their adjusted net income's up by a healthy 31%.
Okay. I'm starting to see why this is also confusing.
Yeah.
We've got amazing growth in AI, some not so great performance in other areas, and yet overall they seem to be in a pretty good spot financially. So
Yeah, it's a head scratcher.
yeah. So
Yeah.
where does that leave us?
Well, it leaves us with a big question. Is this dip a good buying opportunity?
Yeah.
Should you buy now while the price is low, or are there too many warning signs?
Right.
And to answer that, we need to look ahead. AMD is expecting 22% revenue growth for this quarter, and analysts are predicting even more, like 27% growth for 2025.
27. Now that's a number that gets my attention, but what about the price? Is it a good deal right now?
Well, their price to earnings ratio is at 24,
Yeah.
which isn't super cheap, but considering their potential in the AI market, it's not unreasonable.
Okay.
Of course, it's not a sure thing, it's a gamble, but it might be a smart one.
So just to recap for everyone listening, AMD is a company doing really well with AI, but some parts of their business are struggling, yet they are exceeding financial expectations and show signs of strong future growth.
It's definitely interesting.
This is where things get really interesting, and I want to hear what you all think.
Yeah.
Do you think this is a chance to get a good deal before AMD takes off?
Right.
Or are you a little more cautious and worried about those warning signs? Take a minute to think about that, and we will be right back to wrap things up.
It's funny. This whole thing with AMD makes me think of like a classic investing problem.
Oh.
You see this new exciting technology, AI, and everyone gets all caught up in it.
Yeah.
But then we forget that companies are complicated, with lots of moving pieces. And sometimes those pieces don't all move together perfectly.
It's a great analogy. It's like saying a car is perfect just because it has a brand new engine.
Yeah.
You got to check the brakes, the tires, the whole thing.
Exactly. And for AMD, one of those breaks seems to be their semi-custom revenue, which we talked about earlier.
Right.
That part of their business is really tied to the gaming console market.
Yeah.
And that market, it goes up and down.
Mm-hmm.
We've been in a good period lately because of the pandemic, but things are slowing down.
Yeah, I've heard that sales of new consoles have slowed down, so that affects AMD because they make the chips for them, right?
Yes, exactly. And it shows something really important. Even a company with awesome technology can be affected by things they can't control.
Right.
Think about it. AMD might make the best chips in the world for gaming consoles. But if people aren't buying consoles,
This doesn't matter.
doesn't matter.
So it reminds us that investing isn't just about betting on a company's technology, but also about understanding the markets they're in and the whole economy.
Absolutely. And that brings me to a question I've been thinking about.
Okay.
We've talked about AMD now, the good and the bad. But what about the future? Where will their next big growth come from? They can't just rely on AI forever, especially with companies like NVIDIA competing with them.
That's a great question. I mean, they obviously have a lot of talent and resources. They've proven they can come up with new things. What are you thinking? Any areas that stand out to you?
Well, if I had to guess, and remember, this is just a guess, I'd say keep an eye on the metaverse.
The metaverse. Now, that's interesting. Why they're there.
Think about it. The metaverse is all about creating these immersive virtual worlds. And that takes a ton of processing power.
Yeah.
And AMD is already making chips that power those high-end games, and the metaverse is basically taking that to the next level.
I see your point. And it's not just the hardware, right?
Right.
AMD has also been investing in software and tools for developers, which could give them a real edge in the metaverse world.
Yeah, they could be the ones providing the building blocks for these virtual worlds.
Exactly. So while AI is the hot topic right now, the metaverse might be the sleeper hit, the dark horse in the race.
For sure.
It's a long-term bet, obviously, but it's something to watch, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
And this is what I love about these deep dives.
Me too.
We start with a specific question about a stock, and we end up talking about the potential of entire industries.
It's amazing.
It's mind-blowing, but before we get too carried away with the metaverse, let's bring it back to you, our listener. We've talked about a lot AMD's financials, the ups and downs of the gaming market, and now the metaverse. So, what are you thinking about? What questions are popping up in your mind? Take a moment to think about all this, and we'll be right back to wrap things up.
All right, so let's wrap things up here.
Yeah.
We've been going through this AMD puzzle, and I think we found some really interesting pieces. On the one hand, they're like a major player in the AI world, doing some really cutting-edge stuff. But then you have those other parts of their business that aren't doing so well, which reminds us that no company is safe from, the ups and downs of the market.
And even with all that, they're still exceeding financial expectations, managing their resources well, and even getting ready for future growth.
Right.
It's a really interesting example of how to navigate a complex business world.
So what does this all mean for you? We've looked at the facts, analyzed the trends, and even talked about the metaverse.
Yeah.
Now it's your turn to take all this information and decide what it means for you as an investor. Yeah. Exactly. If you're looking for like a simple buy or sell recommendation, you won't find it here.
Yeah.
That's not what the deep dive is about. We're all about giving you the tools to think for yourself, weigh the evidence and make your own decisions that fit with your financial goals.
Exactly. Do you see AMD as a company with a bright future that's just being held back by things outside of their control? Or do you see those warning signs as maybe something more serious? There's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about how you personally see things.
And remember, this is just a snapshot in time. The market is always changing, and so is AMD. New information will come out, new challenges will pop up, and new opportunities will present themselves.
For sure.
The important thing is to stay informed, keep learning, and adjust your strategies as you go.
Well said. That's exactly what we try to do here. Give you the knowledge and the tools to navigate this crazy world of investing. We don't want to just tell you what to think.
Right.
We want to help you think for yourself.
And hopefully along the way, we've sparked your curiosity and inspired you to learn more about the companies and technologies that are shaping our world.
Definitely. So whether you decide to invest in AMD or not, we hope this deep dive has been a valuable experience for you. Keep those brains working, keep asking those tough questions, and never stop exploring until next time. Happy investing.